Greetings, everyone. Continuing in the relationship series, I'm going to do this video based on a request. The person who asked me to speak about relationship with self, this is you. This is for you. But it's also for everyone else who really need this message today or will find this sometime in the future. We're always thinking about building our relationship with family, with friends, with co-workers, and that's coming up. The one for the co-worker is coming up very soon. But the one with self, I think every single person in this world, once you have built a positive relationship with yourself, there's nothing that anyone else says or do to you that will affect you in a negative way. It comes down to self-love, it comes down to self-care, but also developing a strong mind. Once you have a strong mind, you're going to cope or deal with any situation in your life in such a way that is going to leave folks wondering how you do it. It takes years and strength to be able to withstand some of the storms that we deal with in life. And so let's get into it. If you're an African person, and they're all kinds of people, white, Asian, Hispanic, all race of people watch the video. And so I'm not trying to exclude you. It's just that, you know, my channel is sort of a community-based thing. We're not excluding anyone, but it's sort of a place where my people come to just talk about issues that we face in life or deal with the things, you know, we encounter with each other. But we're not excluding anyone. And this one goes for everyone. When you develop a really strong bond with yourself, you're able to navigate any situation you find yourself in. Now let's start with this thing that a lot of African people experience. And it comes with the fact that as people who are melanated, dark-skinned people who get treated terribly because of their skin color, often, you know, walk away around with so much trauma, so much hurt. And I'm here to tell you that the first thing you're going to do to deal with these situations is to appreciate who you are. Love your hair. Love your skin. Love the essence of who you are. Love your body. You know, so many of you have experienced with people telling you, especially in Jamaica, that you're black and ugly. And here's the one that's worse. When your own mother, your mama, because those are not mothers, your mama look at you and tell you that you're black and you're ugly. Excuse me. This camera is acting up. Camera don't like the truth. You see, when your family and when your mom say these things to you, it cuts like a knife. A lot of girls or guys don't have any relationship with their moms because of the words that came out of their mouth. The embarrassing things they said to them about being fat, about being black, about their hair being tough. You name it, all the negative things. Let me tell you something. A lot of these men out here who are hating on women or disrespecting women are that way because of how their mothers treated them, talked to them. And when we say mother, it doesn't have to be your birth mother. It could be a grandmother. It could be an aunt. You got persons who, you know, seem so strong and macho. And when you talk to these guys, they tell you, my grandmother treated me so badly. My mother say all these disrespectful things to me. Let me share the story with you. A woman told me that her sister was molested by her stepfather, which is her mother's husband. And imagine how horrible that is. And she eventually left home, got married, started having children of her own. Her mother came to her home and told her husband that she was having an affair with her husband. Instead of protecting her daughter, she blamed her. Now this husband, who was not a nice person, started cursing her about what happened to her. So now this wound got salt sprinkled in it. And so a new set of problems start happening in her life, and her husband started treating her horrible. Of course, you know, he's not a good person. The story is not about him, but it's about how that mother had her in this cycle of abuse and extended that with what she did. And a person like that say, I cannot forgive my mother for what she did. Other moms know of other things that are happening to their children and turn a blind eye. Moms beat their children in such a way that scar them for life. Not just physically, but mentally. And it takes courage and a lot of work and counseling for some of these ones to get to the point where they don't repeat the cycle. And when they're free, they're then free from this. You have to say to yourself that what someone else did to you or the abuse they leveled at you has nothing to do with who you are. It has to do with who they are. There are certain things about ourselves we cannot change. We cannot change our skin color unless we're going to use chemicals to do that. We cannot change our hair unless we, again, add chemicals to change that. So we have to embrace the things about ourselves that are natural. And this video is not about you not doing things to your skin or not doing things to your hair. The point is here is that as long as you love yourself and appreciate yourself, you know, regardless of what people say about you, that is not your problem, that's theirs. I get people tell me all the time that I'm ugly. I get people tell me, you know, you're old. Now, they were expecting to, when they say those things, for it to impact me in a negative way. But I always say to you, and I would always say to anybody, anyone that goes out of their way to say these things to other persons are people who are wounded. Happy people, kind people, established people do not run around trying to make someone feel bad that they don't have money or they're poor, or feel terrible. If the person is beautiful, they have no reason to be telling you that you're ugly. Because if a person is beautiful on the outside and they're ugly on the inside, they're going to look for somebody to share that with, their ugliness. It's never about you. If I go out of my way to try to strip you down and rip you to pieces, it's how I'm feeling inside. That's the first thing I want you to remember and empower yourself with. Happy people would never seek anyone to make them unhappy. Anything you see happening in the world that you think is bad, that others are doing to other people, that causes them pain or suffering, those, take a careful look at those individuals. They're hurting. If they're doing things to affect your health, their health is not good. If they're here to tell you that, talk about the external features or things about yourself that are natural and that you don't want to change, then something is wrong with them, not you. Anything we're going through in life, we can change it. When you start to tell yourself those things, that's where I have a problem, and that's where you have a problem. Once you start to take on that negative energy onto yourself and wear it like a cloak, that is where your problems begin. So, as they come with their negativity, as they come to force their opinions about themselves on you, it's your job and your responsibility to avoid those ones, to stay away from people who do not empower you, to avoid people who doesn't come to encourage you, And encouragement doesn't necessarily mean it's all sweet words. We can encourage others and we can tell them the truth to say what you are doing is self-destructive. We can still love somebody and encourage them by saying, no, I don't want you doing that. That's not going to work out for you. If you're in a position to tell them. But there are times when you're going to have to fold your hand and watch people go to the ground and let them get up by themselves. And when they get up by themselves, they see that you're there in case they need you as a support system. The goal of this video is to say to you that self-love, I said it before, is the best love. And I'm telling you, anytime someone attacks you and you feel terrible, I understand the feeling that is associated with picking up on that negative energy. But you have to dismiss that. You have to go wash yourself if you're close to water. Leave that off. Don't carry it. Just like people getting sad news and wanting someone to share it with, oftentimes that person is trying to relieve themselves from the burden of that bad news. The same thing is true when people are carrying these destructive feelings onto themselves. They're going to look for someone to empty it out on. You ever hear about emptying rage? People will empty their rage on you. Listen careful to what people are saying so you're not misunderstanding their intention, because there are times when people tell us things and we take offense to it and they mean no harm. But when they personally attack you, especially when they're having a conversation with you and they're not doing very well in maintaining any positive argument or any successful argument, when they start attacking your face, your body, your mind, because it's startling you're dunce, telling you you're stupid, this is how they feel about themselves. And I know when people are very young, that is difficult to understand. But once you find yourself as an adult and you look back at all the painful experiences in your life and the awful things you've heard from friends, family member or whatever, associates, you can't carry that anymore. You have to let that go. Your mom don't love you? Her loss. The man treated you terrible or the woman treated you terrible? You're lost, because when these ones sometimes treat you badly, the universe is freeing you so you can find somebody to love you perfectly. But don't wait to find someone to love you perfectly before you learn to love yourself that way. And again, do not let anyone empty their rage on you. Do not accept it. There are times when you're going to have to stand up in their face and say, go away. Who are you? Or say no. A resounding no to say, no, I will not accept this abuse. I will not allow you to tear down my self-esteem. I will not allow you to be a big bully in my life. Just walk over me, do as you like with me, and then I'm going to accept it. Whether it's your career, in your job situation, in your school, in your personal life, in a financial situation, you don't have to feel bad about yourself, because anything you cannot change, you let that go. You relinquish that. And over this year, I'm going to teach you some of the ways how you can free yourself mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and financially. You're perfect just the way you are. And if there's anything you want to change, like your hair, you can change your hair. Your hair doesn't become you. And if you have wrinkles, that is a sign of the fact that you've lived. And those wrinkles represent that power, hopefully, that you're carrying. Because I know that some people get older and they don't have any, knowledge, any power, because of who they align themselves with. and how they allow the experiences in their life to determine who they become or who they are now. We know ourselves. Once you know yourself, regardless of what people do or say to you, it doesn't change you, except for the betterment, or for you to know, the dirt that gets thrown on you, you shake it off, you stomp it, and you grow taller and taller and taller, and you get, more and more wisdom and knowledge. And after a while, when people come to you, and you can tell these ones, they come sometimes with a word of encouragement. It sounds that way. But when you look at their intention, it's not right. It's not correct. They don't come correct, even though they're saying nice things. You look into their eyes and you can tell that they're not genuine. That, there's no sincerity in these ones. Anyone who wants you to feel bad about yourself, attacking your looks, those people are pitiful. And that's all you should show them is pity. If the own woman that gave birth to you does not love you, the fact is she doesn't love herself. And there's a lot of people walking around with trauma, and anywhere they can empty it, they will. Don't let them empty it on you. Stay blessed, everyone.